She didn't get married because she was in love. She got married because she was silenced, silenced by fear, silenced by shame, silenced by a pregnancy that came from abuse, and a society that cared more about reputation than her safety. This is the story of a woman who was forced to marry the man who hurt her, and how that forced silence cost her life. When Amina was 17, her life changed in a way she never consented to. The man responsible was Tariq, someone her family trusted, someone who was older, someone with influence. Amina tried to speak, but her voice was swallowed by disbelief. They asked her questions that felt like accusations. They wondered what she did wrong. They told her not to ruin a man's future. Then came the pregnancy, and suddenly the abuse was no longer the problem. The pregnancy was. The family decided quickly, this matter must be settled. He will marry her. This is the only way to avoid shame. No one asked Amina what she wanted. No one asked how she felt carrying a child that reminded her of trauma. No one asked if she felt safe. They called it responsibility. They called it tradition. But Amina knew the truth. She was being handed back to the person who had already hurt her. On her wedding day, Amina did not smile. She wore a dress that felt heavier than fear. She stood beside a man she did not trust. She said vows she never chose. People congratulated her. They called her strong. They said, at least he did the right thing. But marriage did not erase what had happened. It gave Tariq access. Once the doors closed, the abuse changed form. Tariq controlled everything. Where Amina went, who she spoke to, what she ate, when she slept. He reminded her daily, you're lucky I married you. You would have been nothing without me. No one else would want you. The emotional abuse was constant. Then came the physical violence, quiet at first, hidden, followed by apologies and threats. If you talk, you'll lose everything. Amina was pregnant and exhausted. Her body was healing from trauma. Her mind was living in fear. When she tried to reach out, she was told, you're married now. Think of the child. Endure. Endure. That word became her prison. She stayed not because she was weak, but because she was surrounded by walls built by silence, fear, and shame. Tariq's violence escalated. Arguments ended in bruises hidden beneath clothes. Silence became safer than honesty. He isolated her completely. No friends, no freedom, no voice. Amina learned to survive by shrinking. She stopped resisting, stopped crying, stopped hoping, and that scared her more than the pain. Neighbors heard arguments, family noticed changes, but everyone assumed it was marriage stress. No one intervened. No one asked directly if she was safe, and Amina had learned that speaking only made things worse. One night, violence crossed a final line. There was no argument that mattered, no mistake that justified it. Only rage, only power, only silence. Amina never made it out alive, a life silenced twice, first by abuse, then by violence. After her death, people asked questions. Why didn't she leave? Why didn't she speak up? Why didn't anyone know? But the better questions were never asked in time. Why was she forced to marry her abuser? Why was her safety sacrificed for reputation? Why did silence feel safer than help? Forced marriage is not a solution. It is a continuation of abuse. Pregnancy does not justify silence. Marriage does not erase violence. And tradition should never cost a life. If you are watching this, listen without judgment, believe survivors, speak up when someone is afraid, never pressure anyone to stay with their abuser. Silence protects abusers, not victims. Stories like Amina's exist because silence still exists. Like, comment, and subscribe to Meek Tales Hub for real, true life inspired stories that expose abuse, forced marriage, and hidden violence, and help prevent another life from being lost. Your support helps these stories reach those who need them most, because silence should never be the price of survival.